Chargers fans, I have some really bad news for you guys, and a little bit of an interesting piece of analysis that I have to provide because I'm seeing some rumors out there that just don't make a lot of sense and some narratives being created that to me just don't make sense. So I figured I'd address them in this video. So before we get to that, guys, make sure you guys are following me on Twitch because I'm going to begin doing my next big Madden resimulation. We're going to start all the way in the year 2003. We're going to get ourselves the actual draft classes and simulate each and every year to see what happens in the NFL. By doing this, I hope to shine a bigger light on the franchise simulation community. That's kind of what I like to do in my free time, and we don't really pull that many viewers on Twitch, so it's a good way to connect with me, come through, talk to me about the NFL, and suggest video ideas. On top of that, be on the lookout for my next Dark Stories of the NFL video on Pat Tillman. It already got demonetized, so I'm going to be posting in my community tab when we release that officially, so you guys could set a reminder so you could see the video. Bear in mind, if you don't turn on my notifications, then there's a chance you won't see most of my content because a lot of my content gets demonetized. Now that we got all that out of the way, break! Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? Your boy Mike here, and this is actually my 5th video of the day, so if my voice sounds like it's damn near dead, that's why. But we need to start by talking about one of my favorite players in the game because I'm a huge fan of NFL players that are stars and that are safeties because you don't really see it that often, man. It's really hard to get your hands on a very good safety. Off the top of my head, like the best safeties that I've seen in the past decade, Earl Thomas, Cam Chancellor, Derwin James, Ed Reed, and I'm sure I'm forgetting someone, so the comment section's about to destroy me because I'm forgetting someone. But what I'm trying to say is when you have a really good safety, it's a huge commodity. It's not something that you could get your hands on that easily. So when your star safety goes down with a meniscus injury, then that could be quite terrifying. And especially if you're the Los Angeles Chargers, your identity now is mainly your defense. You have Melvin Ingram on one edge, Joey Bosa on the other edge. You spent a first-round pick on Kenneth Murray, so you're definitely trying to pay attention there. You have a former architect of the Legion of Boom as your defensive coordinator in Gus Bradley. And, well, when your star safety goes down, there's tremendous cause for concern. So let me take you through everything. And this is according to Ian Rappaport. It was mainly tweeted out an hour ago when he said Chargers star safety Derwin James is likely to miss significant time with a meniscus injury he suffered during today's practice. I'm told James was expected to be a Defensive Player of the Year candidate and will now have to wait and see when he will be back on the field. Derwin James is awaiting further tests to clear up his timetable, but a rough early blow for the playmaker, of course, we all agree. But he continues on to say the options for Derwin James, pending further medical evaluation, a meniscus trim which can be 4 or so weeks, or a full repair which can be several months. Now, that's all fine and dandy, but this is where things kind of get a little weird, and this is when I think Ian Rappaport's just trying to create a narrative just for the sake of creating a narrative, because he's really taking this Earl Thomas stuff and running with it whenever he has an opportunity to do so. He goes on and tweets, the Chargers play the same system as the Seahawks with defensive coordinator Gus Bradley. Earl Thomas is still a free agent. It would be an intriguing option for the Los Angeles Chargers if they felt compelled to go with a veteran replacement for Derwin James. While Derwin James was a very capable defender, having 13 passes defensed and 3 interceptions in his rookie season, he's mainly known for his ability to stop the run and for being an open field tackler. For that reason, he is officially a strong safety. But the thing is, whenever you're employing a cover 3 type system, then you could have a safety that is adequate at tackling, but mainly could defend all the way backfield when you have 3 defensive backs going deep. So here's the thing. When I first saw what Ian Rappaport said, I said that there's no way this makes sense, because I always assumed that Earl Thomas's strength was primarily that of defending against the pass, but for the most part, Earl Thomas's skill set and Derwin James's skill set seem to be very similar to each other, and their statistics appear to be very similar as well, although it doesn't appear as either of them are major ball hawks. Both of them are very capable tacklers on the open field, so I could understand that narrative, because the traditional strong safety in Gus Bradley's system isn't necessarily a traditional strong safety. Typically, strong safeties are the ones that are specializing in stopping the run and making the open field tackles, but in Gus Bradley's system, you kind of have to be a little bit of a jack of all trades. You're going to have to be able to be the furthest defensive back, covering the middle in the cover 3 system, while also being able to come up short and stop a potential run. For that reason and that reason alone, I could actually see this making sense. Originally, when I saw it, I thought, no way, Earl Thomas is technically a free safety, Derwin James is a strong safety, this doesn't make a lot of sense. But when you think of the scheme and what Earl Thomas would have to do in order to replace Derwin James, this is just a perfect fit at this point. So clock is going to be ticking and all eyes are now going to be on Earl Thomas. This is just speculation, mainly coming from a credible source. I typically wouldn't make a speculative video like this if it wasn't coming from Ian, who originally said that the Dallas Cowboys were completely out of the Earl Thomas race, and at this point, I'd have to say I agree with him and I believe that, because if they weren't out of the Earl Thomas, if they were in the Earl Thomas race, they would have offered him a contract literally within days of him becoming a free agent. It's been a week and Earl Thomas still hasn't been offered a contract by the Dallas Cowboys, and days of training camp are just passing by. So with that being said, you could make an argument, okay, if Dallas is definitely in on Earl Thomas, what's taking him so long? Earl is probably going to be getting a call from the Chargers really soon. Hopefully Derwin James isn't out for that long. And it should be interesting, because when Derwin James comes back, now you have two very capable safeties that are very familiar with Gus Bradley's system. I do think Earl Thomas is at the point of his career where he should be rotating in a little bit as he's aging more and more. So I think this just makes a lot of sense in general. If there's a reason why this doesn't make sense at all, let me know in the comment section down below, because I'm always open to discussing this with you guys and I would like to hear your opinions as well. But it would be a nice little story to see Earl Thomas reunite with his old defensive coordinator. I think it's just what he needs, especially because he got kicked out of Baltimore for literally not understanding what he needs to do in the Baltimore Ravens defensive scheme. That's literally what the fight originated from. So going back to the same system that he was running back in Seattle just makes a lot of sense and should offer him an opportunity to potentially rejuvenate his career. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.